Hey everybody, and welcome to Anime Stroganoff. I am Eli,
And I'm Lilith.
and today we're going to be talking about Blackfox.
Blackfox. Or was it Sable Vulpine? Or
I believe it was Sable Vulpine.
it might have been Cole Reynard. It's not a particularly whatchamacallit, inventive name, I would say.
No.
But it's accurate. It is accurate.
It is extremely accurate. Spoiler alert. Single solitary spoiler alert for the film Black Fox came out in 2019. It's on Crunchyroll. Go and watch it.
Yeah. We're just gonna go ahead and tell you up front, just go and watch it. It's really good.
So yeah, sole spoiler warning. Title's accurate because the main girl dresses up like a black fox.
We might need to expand on that a bit.
We might need to expand on that a little bit.
So let's start with a brief overview of what. Should we start with background or the story itself?
Let's start with background.
Okay, so the studio who made this. So first and foremost, I would actually say, is that this is an anime original movie.
Yes, it is an original animated movie. Studio 3HZ. If we have like a love-hate relationship with Studio White Fox, this is just like I'd say that our relationship is like 99% love for Studio 3HZ. And yes, I know it's 3 hertz. I don't care.
You've been calling it 3HZ for so long, I just started calling it that. We only just yesterday found out that it is called 3 hertz.
I vaguely recall figuring it out earlier. It's just I immediately discarded the information because I don't care.
That makes a lot of sense, honestly.
You know how I be.
Nah, I know how you be.
3HZ is a studio that I'm gonna say they carry they don't carry themselves, but they carry themselves on the back of their originals. They're all inventive and creative and interesting and new. Princess Principal, one of the first episodes we ever did. That's Studio 3HZ.
Yes.
If you haven't seen that one.
Yes. And we very much enjoyed Princess Principal.
That was literally our 3rd episode.
And so we can say with certainty, having looked at their originals and also some of their adaptations, that 3HZ has a certain type of anime style that they like. That style would be cute girls being badass. I think that's probably the most succinct way to describe it.
Yeah. With lots of homoerotic subtext.
Lots.
Is that the word? Am I using that correctly?
In some cases, it's just text. In other cases,
In
it's
some
subtext.
cases, it's just text.
But yes, pretty much everything they do has lots of homoerotic subtext.
Flip Flappers, Princess Principal.
So much!
I think Black Fox is probably the one with the most subtext rather than text.
Very true. SAO Alternative Gun Gale Online, another show that we really like, which was done by Studio 3 Hertz, is same deal. Cute girls doing badass things.
That is also an adaptation, though.
Very true, but it fits with their...
It fits with their theme, yes.
Yes. And that one doesn't really have any text or subtext, unfortunately. And we haven't seen Celestial Method yet.
We haven't.
But it's on the list.
It's been on the list, and then we watched Black Fox yesterday in preparation for today. And we're like, damn 3HZ, you've done it again. So I think that's the one original 3HZ work that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that is accurate. So yeah, 3 Hertz is a interesting studio. However, we're a little worried about them.
Yes. I'm highly concerned. Blackfox is what made me very worried about them, because they seem to make things that, more or less review well enough and more or less sell perfectly satisfactorily, but they've never had the breakout hit that seems to rake in the cash. And as we'll get into, Blackfox really feels like they wanted to make like a standard one core anime series, but they didn't have the money for that, so they were forced to make it as a movie.
Very true.
And they've done no original since.
Now, granted, last year and currently
Has been a bother.
it's been a bit of a bit, and they appear to have been preoccupied with a
Game adaptation
of some. I don't actually know what this is.
Yeah, it's
Is it like a male
I think it's
idol
a rhythm
show?
game. I don't know. I literally don't know.
Maybe.
Don't know and don't particularly care.
Yeah. But yeah, all they've done since Black Fox is adaptations, and, well, let's just say that the first thing they did after Black Fox was Rifle is Beautiful, and leave it at that.
Such a disappointment. The only positive review of Rifle is Beautiful I've ever seen was someone who said that it was so generic it rolled around to being beautiful and original.
I didn't even know that was possible.
But we're not talking about Rifle is Beautiful. We're talking about Black Fox.
We are talking about Black Fox.
Black Fox is same director, Kazuya Nomura.
Yes.
I feel like that name's pretty easy.
Kazuya Nomura. Yes.
So I think I got that correct.
You did
he
get it correct.
also did
The opening for Princess Principal.
yes, he did the opening for Princess Principal. That feels like not something you would care to put on your resume, but the opening of Princess Principal was pretty great.
It is pretty great.
He's also the director on Moriarty the Patriot, both seasons. So
It's a pretty good show.
if you like that show, then
I mean, it's not the same thing as Black Fox, but
of course not. No, but
he's also director on a bunch of other stuff, and
I mean, I haven't even seen Moriarty the Patriot.
very true. Yeah, he's worked on a bunch of stuff, and he's a solid director.
The voice talent is respectable. People whose names I do not remember and can barely pronounce. Ayaka Nanase, Haruka Tomatsu, Yu Taichi. The My Anime List only credits 4 people, except 2 of the characters are played by the same person and are in fact the same person, and that's not a spoiler that they're the same person.
I mean, if you were looking at the My Anime List page, and then you heard us say that, that would be kind of a spoiler. But
It would be kind of a spoiler, but if you were watching the film, we literally see the person become the other person. It's not a spoiler. And it's not even them really becoming the other person, but
it's literally just an outfit change.
it's literally just a costume change, yeah.
But yeah, everybody involved in voice acting this movie, solid stuff. I mean, we got
They have a respectable career
that too.
with pedigree, I'd say. But all this comes together to... We've not even said what Black Fox is.
We said it's a movie and it's animated, so it's like a cyberpunk thing
Yes.
about a ninja.
It is a cyberpunk ninja superhero movie.
That is probably the most accurate description of it we've come up with so far.
It has a lot of Western influences, and I cannot tell if those are purely stylistic decisions, or if those are actually some form of subtle world building. And considering it's Studio 3HZ, it could very well be both.
That it absolutely could. They're really good at that.
It's the most New York looking Japan I've ever seen.
Well, it's because it's not Japan. They never say what country they're in.
They never say what country they're in. That is true.
The city that they're in the whole time is called Brad City. I'm just gonna leave that one there. Just let it marinate a bit. Brad City.
But
Brad City.
Brad City.
So I suppose now we've gone over most of the background information. Probably move into a quick overview of the story. And then we'll get into any gripes we have, which isn't a lot, but there's a few. And then we'll move into our, actual thoughts on it. So, Blackfox is about a little girl whose dad is a roboticist. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I think roboticist is the right word. He does not. He makes robots and he makes AI, like fully sapient AI.
And her grandfather is a ninja.
Yes, her grandfather is the current leader of a ancient historical clan of ninja warriors.
Yes. For the record, we're pretty sure her dad is her grandfather's son-in-law.
Yes.
We don't know what happened to her mom, so
presumably she's dead.
Probably, but
yeah. So dad's like some sort of world-changing roboticist. Grandpa's some sort of epic badass ninja warrior.
And we get introduced to the grandpa with a game of hide and seek.
Involving swords.
And bombs!
They blow a hole in their roof.
Their whole house is filled with trapdoors and stuff. It's hilarious.
Yes, they have this old-fashioned traditional Japanese house on a hill overlooking overlooking the standard New York skyline.
Well, because it's not the standard New York skyline, because there's that giant ugly tower in the middle of it.
Yes, there's a weird tower thing in the middle, but discounting that.
Which, it's not like some super sinister thing, except it is, but it looks like a really weird corporate HQ than any kind of, evil lair or something like that.
Fitting, because it is a corporate HQ.
It is a corporate HQ, and it's an evil lair.
It's cyberpunk. They're always the same.
Very true, very true. So,
I think we literally left off with describing the first minute of the plot. She's playing hide and seek with her grandpa involving bombs and knives.
Yes, and then after that, she goes to her dad's lab, where he shows off some fancy robots that he made.
He made robot animals with active camouflage and full sapient AI. I'd say so. I'd say more, but that's just impressive enough as it is.
Yes, it is. I was gonna say the only downside and criticism for him that I would give is that making the bird a bald eagle, because those aren't very common in Japan. But then we realized it's probably not set in Japan.
Yeah.
So
again,
I guess bald eagles are common here.
We can't tell if the very American architectural style is because it's not set in Japan or because it's some sort of someone built. The dude who built its name is Brad Ingram. So we're not as concerned if he's some sort of super reverse weeb or he just wanted to. We literally have no idea. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and I mean that in a good way.
We also theorize that it might not take place on Earth at all, so that's fun. In any case, there's a bit of tension between Rika's dad and grandpa, because generational stuff.
Whether or not she will follow in her dad's footsteps or her granddad's, standard stuff, I guess.
Standard stuff. Well, fast forwards to
about 10 years.
About 10 years. And now Rika is going into high school. She got into her dad's old school. We're just kind of recapping. We're going to skip over more stuff. Anyways, so she comes back, and this was another thing, that she was texting her dad in English.
Because they had Japanese subtitles. So they apparently, at least her and her dad, speak English with each other. Except her name is Rika, and her dad, I don't know what her dad's name was, actually, but I'm pretty sure it was also Japanese. Alan.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe he actually doesn't speak Japanese.
That is entirely possible.
Who knows? We don't know.
There's a lot of things here that we don't know in a good way.
There's a lot of layers to this world that need to be unpacked.
Anyways, it's her birthday. So she goes home, except Mayor Brad murdered her parents. Or murdered her dad. Or, well, tried to. Certainly.
I mean, he succeeded in the end.
Well, yes, very true. Anyways, so Dad and Grandpa were at the robotics lab, and Rika let the bad guys in by accident.
I'm going to make a long story short. Rika goes to her house, finds blood everywhere, goes into the lab to find her dad. He's been shot. Then the bad guys bust in like, haha, you opened the door for us. Then a girl with psychic powers walks in. And they're trying to steal the AI research from her dad. So then her dad and her grandpa get just friggin' massacred. Bald Eagle grabs her and flies off into the sky, dropping her off at the secret backup lab her dad apparently had the entire time.
That also has a ninja shrine for some reason.
It also has a ninja shrine. And then she swears vengeance. She swears that she will bring her father and grandfather's murderers to justice through the powers of ninja and
robot animals.
The three robot companions her dad made for her.
And the fourth that we know exists. And we know who it is.
We did say spoiler alert, so yeah, there's actually secretly a fourth robot.
That's in the hidden bunker.
Which is the one that the big bad evil guy was after the entire time. Like, screw robot animals. It's like, this is an entire robot human. Which, to be fair, that is significantly more impressive.
Yeah, especially because it's designated 00. So, it was presumably the prototype for the robot animals.
Now, you may have heard us mention psychic powers before. Yeah, that's a thing. There's another scientist. His daughter has psychic powers. He researches his psychic powers, and by research we mean tortures her. And he figures out a way to give himself psychic powers, and also apparently proves the metaphysical concept of the soul. So, in this future, science is just on top of everything.
Yeah. Except nobody really gave anything about that guy. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. They were like, ooh, the self-thinking robots. That's the future, not psychic powers.
My daughter can lift things with her minds, yeah? And we've made Metal Gears.
We're not entirely joking.
No, we're not entirely joking.
So after she goes to the bunker, we skip ahead 6 months to her working as a assistant private detective and also hunting down the people who raided the lab 6 months ago. And we keep having to remind ourselves that it happened 6 months ago. Say it with me. It happened 6 months ago.
It happened 6 months ago.
There we go. And we have to say that because it really feels like it's been longer.
She's running around the rooftops at night wearing active camouflage, which the active camouflage only changes the color of her jacket, so not really much point to it. And wearing her grandpa's ninja fox mask with swords and some sort of smart rocket-powered grappling hook.
It's awesome.
And her animal companions, her robot animal companions, doling out sweet justice to the evil corporate structure that took her family from her.
And also finding rich people's lost cats.
To make a long story short, this all happens. She goes, infiltrates the lab, has an epic fight with Psychic Power Girl. Decides not to kill Psychic Power Girl because, brainwashed. Also not evil, but...
Well, because what we established while we were watching it is that she's not brainwashed. It's just I guess, Pavlovian response.
I think that being Pavloved into shooting lightning bolts at people counts as brainwashing.
You make a good point. You make a very good point. But yeah, there's a whole fight between them.
It's basically your standard cyberpunk / superhero vigilante revenge plot.
Pretty standard.
Except with psychic powers and ninjas. And Metal Gears.
And of course, when we say Metal Gears, we're not talking about like the big ones like Rex or Ray. We're talking about like the little ones. The little tiny ones. They're pretty cool, all things considered.
They're still pretty dangerous.
They've got machine guns on their face. And they're quadrupedal, which is kind of weird. But
they're not even. They have like that one.
Oh, that's right. They have
legs.
6 legs. They're hexapedal. Hexapedal's a word, right?
I think that's a word.
Pretty sure that's a word. Hey guys, they're pretty cool. One thing I can say about them that's kind of weird is that they have to manually reload, which is just hilarious, kind of.
It is kind of funny. Accomplished via their scorpion tail.
I mean, honestly, if you've gotten to this point and you haven't convinced you to watch it, what the heck are you doing with your life? Anyway, so after the fight, Rika takes Mia, the psychic girl, thinks about killing her, doesn't kill her, takes her back, nurses her back to health. And there's another girl, Melissa, who's Rika's roommate. And we already said, spoiler alert, she's also the robot.
Yeah, she's the fully human robot that we talked about. It's I want to say it's not subtle, but I mean, they don't explicitly tell you until later on. But if you're paying attention, you will very easily see it.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious in hindsight. Like all the signs happen in like in 5 minutes thereabouts.
It's only an hour and a half long movie.
Yeah.
But then there's a Metal Gear fight.
Good times. Their apartment gets wrecked.
Then they must return to the beginning. And by beginning I mean Rika's house.
Which they trash.
In a fight against
the Metal Gear.
Well, against the Metal Gear and
right after they beat that, in comes Mia's dad with psychic powers.
Mentioned how he figured out how to give himself psychic powers. Dude figured out how to give people psychic powers.
Unfortunately, it might have been at the cost of his own sanity.
Yeah, he wasn't sane before.
Very true.
So
yeah, there's an epic superpower fight.
Epic superpower fight between a telepath, another telepath, and a ninja.
But first, the ninja gets her power up. And also closure from her dad and grandpa's death. And this is another thing. They have casual holographic recorders.
They also have casual active camouflage. Like, what's special about her dad's robots aren't the fact that they have the ability to active camouflage themselves like Predator. It's the fact that they have fully sapient AI. She has a jacket with active camo that just changes the color.
I mean, it does break when a cat scratches it, though.
Which is probably why more people don't use it.
Very true.
Like, oh, active camo, that useless thing.
Well, but, because, see, that would be, like, perfect for clothing and stuff, because, like, you can change the color to be whatever you want at any time.
I mean, she did that.
Yeah, I know, but she only ever changes it to black. Whatever.
She dons her epic fox costume
It's pretty badass. It has butt rockets.
Yeah, yes, it does. She rides around. Well, she doesn't ride the eagle. I guess she technically rides the eagle. She rides her eagle, her robot eagle, through a dude's storm of psychic powers. It's one of the stupidest things, and yet one of the coolest things I've seen. Then Mia's dad freaking like soul transfers himself into her body
And imparts his like manic desire to destroy Rika's dad's life's work. God, that was a weird sentence. And so there's a big, like, not a big superhero fight, but there's a superhero fight, and Rika wins by peeling the shock collar off of Mia.
with the power of friendship and a pretty absurd level of physical strength.
Seriously.
And then, yay, they're together. And then just all three of them, the robot girl included, standing on a rooftop, being like, yes, now we take the next step in our fight against the evil. Then they jump off, and it's like all cool. It's literally just like straight out of a superhero film, including like comic book style ending slides.
That is really cool. That is really cool. And that's the movie.
And that's the movie.
It's like, it's an hour and a half long, so it's like 3 episodes of any other series. And we mentioned, it really feels like it was supposed to be a full-length series.
Yeah, like when we were watching it, we kind of, because this was our second time watching it, both of us. We kind of like broke down like, yeah, here's like episode 2 or 3, here's like episode 4, episode 5, then that's like episode 7, that's episode 8, and then like the climax, obviously 11 and 12, whatever.
Yeah.
My first time watching it, I felt like it was kind of done a disservice by being made into a movie rather than a full series. I still feel that way, but my second watch through, I appreciate more that they were able to get it into an hour and a half without completely just rushing through the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because fundamentally it's Batman Begins. It's a superhero origin story. It's the story of how the superhero Blackfox became to be. Blackfox and her psychic friend and their robot white mage. And also the robot dog and the robot eagle and the robot squirrel.
Yeah, very true, very true. Gods, I really want to see more Blackfox.
There needs to be, because here's the thing that every time I find an original that I like, that always fills me with sadness, because this is an original, there's no source material to go and look at.
Yeah.
So Blackfox, so great. I want more. I need to know more. There is currently no more. And that's the thing I most want from Studio 3HZ, is for them to make... I want them to fulfill their dreams. I want them to get the success that they so righteously deserve, and go on to make all their fun and interesting ideas.
Yeah. Because they do have a lot of them, as we mentioned. I mean, Flip Flappers alone.
Flip Flappers alone is what happens when they're like, all right, guys, we filled up the company cocaine bowl for the first time. Let's all partake. Then they all do it and like, man, this is hitting different. What is this? I don't know. I got it from some guy in an alleyway. Are you even sure it's cocaine? Probably not. Like, okay, because the walls are starting to melt. Shit, that's good. Write that down. I don't want to turn this into a review of Flip Flappers, but Flip Flappers alone has the creativity of multiple other series crammed into one.
I mean, there are moments where that hurts it, but overall, Flip Flappers is solid. It has solid themes, solid animation, solid this, that. It's solid.
It's solid. Princess Principal is when they're like, all right, guys, we can't just dump ideas into one thing. We have to, like, make each thing its own idea. Like, because Flip, again, I don't want this to turn into a review of Flip Flappers, but Flip Flappers goes from being Mad Max to being a horror film in, like, 2 episodes.
And then it's a mecha show, and then it's a magical girl show all the time, though. But you were saying about Princess Principal.
Yeah, that Princess Principal, because that's, like, 1 or 2 really good ideas. So it's just, like, fully fleshed out. Like, it's a spy thriller. It's like a sort of quasi Cold War spy thriller, but set in, like, the 1900s thereabouts, and it's steampunk, but, like, partially inspired by H.G. Wells. It's great. It's great. Their other thing, Sora No Method, Celestial Method. Like I said, we have not watched that yet, but the description is this: a bunch of friends decide to summon a flying saucer to grant them wishes, and then, like, the friends break up, but then they come together again later, with, like, aliens bringing them back together with the power of friendship and wishes or something. I don't know.
Like we said.
And then Blackfox, like, what if we made a superhero film? Okay. What if we made a cyberpunk superhero film? Okay, that sounds pretty cool. What if we added ninjas and psychic powers? Like, a little unfocused, but it works. It's not boring. It entertains.
However, one thing we ran into is we forgot a lot of stuff about Blackfox before we rewatched it.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's imaginative. It's entertaining. It's slightly unfocused.
And that unfocusedness causes us to forget things. Like, we forgot there was psychic powers in it.
I entirely forgot that there were psychic powers.
And then the person with psychic powers shows up and you're like, hey, what's up? Oh, I forgot about the psychic powers.
Like, she just lifted a guy into the air.
You're like, oh no! I mean, one could say that throwing everything into one bucket is possibly have something to do with why it's kind of forgettable at times.
I guess, yeah.
I think also potentially what makes Blackfox a little more forgettable than your average series is that it's a movie.
Yes.
There's not a lot of people who spend every week tuning into it and talking about it on the internet, so it did not ingrain itself into the public consciousness like Princess Principal or Flip Flappers did. I think if Blackfox has been a full series, people would still be talking about it. It would be maybe not, like, the best rated one, and, you know, there'd be detractors and stuff, but it'd be one of those, like, really fun types of series, right?
It would be fondly remembered for having a lot of interesting ideas and actually trying to innovate and be refreshing. Which, funnily enough, for being basically just a mishmash of standard tropes, it manages to be original and refreshing.
Very true. Because let us remember, tropes are tools.
Yes, tropes are tools. But yeah, being a movie kinda did it a disservice. Admittedly, I'm a movies guy. I like movies. I watch movies. I watch a lot of movies. I've watched so many movies. I don't know where I was going with that.
You've watched a lot of movies, so
yes, I know movies. I'm a movies guy. Probably, I'm a movies guy probably more than I am an anime guy, in all honesty. But so I think I've watched over the past 10 years about 550 films. Not a lot, but I say not a lot. That's literally like one a week, at least. But
I mean, I'm sure there's people who watch.
I mean, there are
more
people
movies than
who
you
are like, oh,
every
you know,
day.
if you don't watch like at least like 2 or 3 movies a day, then you have no business opining on things. Yeah, well, some of us have to like actually do shit for a living. I don't mean that in like I'm gainfully employed. I mean that in like some of us has to have other things to do. We have lives. I don't mean that in the way that you're watching movies doesn't mean you have a life. I mean some of us have things where we can't watch movies all the time. We are getting off
I think
topic.
we're getting off topic.
In other words, fuck those people.
Blackfox.
Blackfox. Good movie. Would be better as a TV series.
Solid 3D modeling work on the giant robots and stuff. Could have been composited better, but then when can't they be? We can't all be ufotable.
I was about to say that. I actually kind of feel like releasing on Crunchyroll did a bit of a disservice because Crunchyroll's just for anime people.
Oh yeah.
And like no one goes to Crunchyroll to watch a movie. Well,
unless it's an anime movie.
Unless it's an anime movie, and even then, like,
you're not going to be watching a standalone anime movie usually on Crunchyroll.
No,
unless
like,
you've heard that it's really good.
Like Your Name, was Your Name ever on Crunchyroll?
I don't think so. I only ever watched it on Amazon.
Like A Silent Voice, no, I don't think that was ever on Crunchyroll. Like Akira, I'm just trying to think of famous.
Okay, Akira is that's different because that's way before Crunchyroll.
Yes, but I'm trying to specifically think of anime movies that managed to make it at least slightly into the mainstream.
Any of the Evangelion movies?
Maybe, I don't know.
I actually don't know. I actually don't know if any of them are popular or not.
I feel like those are more just like purely for anime people. But I'm saying, had Blackfox released, I don't mean saying that like they should have like put it on Netflix or something. I mean they could have, but
they should have. They should put Blackfox on Netflix.
They should put Blackfox. I'm saying like I'm not trying to like tell them how to run their business, but I feel that had it leaned, I guess maybe into even just being more of a movie, with its in releasing it on multiple places widely, that might have helped it get a lot of attention. Because like we tried it, we had to find it on Amazon. Like we typed in Blackfox in movies and TV, and it didn't show up. We had to find the DVD, and it's $180.
Direct from Japan.
Direct from Japan. No English DVD or Blu-ray at this point. It's Blu-ray technically.
Yeah, it's Blu-ray. Nobody sells
Does
DVDs
not
anymore.
Matter. I just love Blackfox.
It is a very good movie. It is a very good series. Let's say that.
It is, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a sucker for. I was gonna say sucker for sci-fi, but it's cyberpunk. It's like I was gonna say the post-grunge of sci-fi, but I like post-grunge, so to be fair, I like cyberpunk as well, but
I'm not sure where this is going.
I don't know where it's going. I'm saying I went in, I just watched Princess Principal. I'm looking at Studio 380. I see they have a movie coming up, and I say to myself, damn, I need to watch that. That looks cool. And then it comes out. I wait for the day it comes out on Crunchyroll, and I watch it. I'm like, dang, that was good. It had some problems though, but it was good. And then we watched it a second time. I'm like, you know what? No, this is just good.
So I think what we're trying to say, after I think 20 minutes of saying nothing, is that Blackfox is good and you should go watch it.
Blackfox is good and you should go watch it. It is creative. It is original. It is slightly sloppily put together. It is kind of unfocused and messy. But they did something new. They tried to do something new. I feel like I just insulted the entire anime industry. You know what? I'll stand by it. They tried to make something cool and original, and like, let's make it fun. Fun, fun?
No, I'm pretty sure fun was outlawed after the passing of the SAO amendment back in 12.
I realize I just turned, 20-something and I'm no longer legally allowed to have fun anymore, but...
There.
I think the worst part of it is the fact that my age is no longer a prime number, and it's gonna be years until my age hits a prime number again.
Okay.
You have no idea how much that meant to me.
Prime numbers. I understand. So, if you want to come tell us that you watched Blackfox and that you really liked it, or that you haven't watched Blackfox and you kind of want to now, come tell us on the Discord.
Hell, please just go watch Blackfox.
Actually, yeah, just go watch Blackfox.
Studio 3HC probably needs the money.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, do they get per view royalties on Crunchyroll?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Like, was it just a lump sum payment? I kind of want to know now. Like, what was the business side of this?
I mean, we could go into an entire... I mean, it is Crunchyroll. I know that Crunchyroll isn't the best. Doesn't treat people perfectly well. But...
Yeah, not the best. We're not gonna say anything super bad because we do want to get invited to Crunchyroll Expo at some point.
This is not a discussion on the ethics of the anime industry. This is not a discussion on the ethics of the anime importation industry. This is not a discussion on the industry of anime, really. This is a discussion about Blackfox, a wonderful, charming film that came out 2 years ago that every time I look at it when scrolling through my anime list of all my complete, I say, oh yeah, nice.
So I have been Lilith.
And I have been Eli. And this has been Anime Stroganoff.